Homeostasis is another concept that it's important for you to have an understanding about. The whole body works together to maintain a stable internal environment, and there's a very narrow range with which we function perfectly. And the systems respond to external and internal changes to the normal body range. Say, for example, body temperature and fluid balance. So the body's able to regulate homeostasis through auto-regulation and through extrinsic regulation. So auto-regulation automatically responds with cells and tissues, and then you have extrinsic regulation, which is controlled by the nervous system and the endocrine system. The endocrine system is involved in the excretion of hormones which enter the bloodstream and can affect organs. So within homeostasis, you've got a receptor which will receive the stimulus, the control center which will process the signal and will send instructions to certain parts of the body to do something, and the effector which will carry out the instructions. So if we look at it from a point of view of a temperature control and an air conditioner, if we start over on the left-hand side with the purple circle, which says homeostasis, normal room temperature, and then we follow the arrows around. So we've got normal room temperature, and then something has changed in the body in the room temperature, which causes the room temperature to rise. And this rise is detected by the receptor being a thermometer on the wall. And this thermometer or thermostat triggers the control center, the thermostat, which sends a command down at the effector to turn the air conditioner on. The air conditioner is turned on, the room is cooled, and normal homeostasis, or the normal room temperature range, is achieved again. So this is a simple loop. So if we go through it again, we've got the purple circle on the left, normal room temperature. If we then move upwards, we've got a change in room temperature, which causes a rise in room temperature, and this rise in room temperature is picked up by a receptor. In this case, it is the thermometer, and the thermometer sends information to the thermostat. The thermostat registers that there's been a change in temperature, it's been increased, and that sends commands to the air conditioner to turn on. The air conditioner turns on, pumps out cool air, and the room temperature drops back to what it was supposed to be, the normal range of temperature, and homeostasis is achieved. We're now going to look at what happens in the human body. This is an example of negative feedback. The response of the effector negates the stimulus, and the body is brought back into homeostasis, and normal range is achieved. So here we are again. Instead of the air conditioner, we're looking at the human brain, and we're still starting over on the left-hand side at the purple circle. So homeostasis is achieved when we've got normal body temperature. The normal body temperature is between 36.7 to 37.2 degrees Celsius. But changes occur in body temperature. So we're moving up to the arrow, so we have a stimulus and the body temperature rises. Now the receptor organs that are located in the skin and also in the hypothalamus, which is in the brain, pick up that there is a change in body temperature, that the temperature's gone up. And they send that information to the control center, which is the thermoregulatory center in the brain. Now that sends commands to different parts of the body to do something. So it sends commands to the sweat glands to increase skin secretion of sweat, and also to blood vessels to dilate at the skin. This results in heat being lost by the body, and this eventually will return the body to the normal temperature. So this is an example of negative feedback. We also have an example of positive feedback. And this is where the body is moved away from homeostasis, the normal range is lost, and it's used to speed up processes. So for example, blood clotting is an example of positive feedback. So we've got the circle up top, which is showing you a drawing of a blood vessel, and you can see there that there is a cut in the blood vessel. So that square there inside that circle has now been enlarged to be the first square on the left-hand side. The yellow part of the drawing is inside the blood vessel. Then you have the pink bits, which are the actual vessel wall. And what happens when there is a cut in the blood vessel, we know when we cut ourselves that blood leaks out of the blood vessels. And that's not what the body wants. The body wants to keep all that blood within the blood vessels. So it will start a positive feedback loop to try and plug that hole. What happens first is that cell fragments that are circulating in the blood are drawn to the hole and will try to plug the hole in response to the change in chemicals. As the clotting continues, each step releases a set of chemicals which further accelerates the process. So this is what is known as the clotting cascade, and we talk about it later in the semester. What you really need to know about it is here that I'm showing you two examples. One is negative feedback loop, and this is an example of a positive feedback loop. Eventually what happens as the positive feedback loop closes is that the blood clots and no further blood can leak out of the damaged vessel and bleeding stops.